I really don't care what happens to her at all. I don't care. Like everybody they tiptoe around with this social media, but what y'all don't get is that it be real consequence for y'all little flexes, y'all quick flexes for $300 that you need. It be consequence.
It all started with a whisper. The kind of whisper that travels through social media like wildfire, leaving nothing untouched in its path. One moment, things seemed calm, even if they weren't perfect, and the next, the internet was buzzing with something that would change the way people looked at Iman Shumpert forever. For weeks, there had been quiet rumors about tension in his family, but no one expected the spark to come from his own daughter. And when it did, it wasn't just a spark, it was a full-blown explosion. People had been speculating for a while that Iman's relationship with his kids, especially his oldest, had been going through something rough. But everyone assumed it was just normal father-daughter disagreements, nothing deep enough to grab headlines. That all changed when his daughter's statement surfaced online. Raw, emotional, and heartbreaking in a way that stopped people in their tracks. No PR filters, no carefully worded post, just a pure expression of pain that cut through the noise. The statement wasn't long, but it didn't need to be. Sometimes the shortest sentences hit the hardest. She spoke about feeling unseen, unheard, and unimportant in a way that made people's hearts ache. She didn't mention his name directly, but the implications were undeniable. And with social media being what it is, it didn't take long for the internet to put two and two together. Screenshots spread like wildfire, fan pages reposted the words, and within hours, Iman's name was trending for all the wrong reasons. At first, Iman stayed quiet, completely silent. No tweets, no Instagram stories, nothing. Some people took that as guilt, the kind of guilt that makes you retreat instead of defend yourself. Others thought maybe he was just trying to process everything before speaking. But silence is a dangerous thing in the court of public opinion, and the longer he stayed quiet, the more the narrative built against him. People started painting their own versions of the story. Some claimed they knew insiders who said this had been brewing for months. Others speculated that his recent split with Teyana Taylor had created an emotional domino effect in the family. Meanwhile, Teyana, though not directly involved in the statement, posted something cryptic on her Instagram story, just a simple picture of her daughters with the caption, "Always my babies." No tags, no shade, but to the public, it was loaded. It felt like a mother taking a side without openly saying it. That's when fans really started debating. Was this about Iman not being there enough? Was it about broken promises? Or was it something even deeper that nobody outside the family truly understood? The pressure built until Iman couldn't stay quiet anymore. And when he finally spoke, it was clear that this wasn't going to be some polished PR response. This was going to be raw, unfiltered, and straight from the heart because you could hear it in his voice. He didn't start with a greeting, he didn't even ease into it. He jumped right into the pain. Iman admitted that reading his daughter's words felt like getting punched in the chest, and that it was the kind of hurt he didn't see coming. He said he never imagined that his child would feel the need to express herself to the world instead of just coming to him. There was a moment in his voice where he cracked, the sound of someone trying to keep control, but not fully succeeding. And in that moment, a lot of people realized this wasn't just celebrity drama, this was a family going through something real. But it wasn't all soft emotion. Iman made it clear that while he understood her feelings, there were parts of the story the public didn't know. He hinted at months of complicated family dynamics, schedules that kept him away more than he liked, and disagreements about how things should be handled post-divorce. He didn't throw anyone under the bus, but you could feel the tension in the way he spoke. He was trying to balance being a father with being a public figure, and that balance was cracking under the weight of the situation. The fans were split. Some people felt for him, pointing out how hard it must be to navigate co-parenting while living life in the public eye. Others were unforgiving, saying that no matter how busy or complicated things get, a father should never let his child feel like she has to cry out for attention on social media. And the comments under his video were proof of just how divided the reaction was, thousands of people debating whether this was an explanation or just an excuse. Teyana didn't make any direct statements in response, but she did post a video of her daughters baking cookies at home with her. It looked innocent on the surface, But in the middle of all this drama, every little move felt like it carried meaning. People read it as her way of saying, "They're safe with me, they're happy with me," without saying a word. What made this situation even more intense was how fast it turned into a bigger conversation about fathers, daughters, and emotional neglect. This wasn't just about Iman anymore. Social media turned it into a cultural debate. People started sharing their own stories about absent fathers, broken communication, and how kids often feel forced to hide their emotions until they can't anymore. Suddenly, the situation wasn't just personal, it was symbolic. Iman, however, wasn't done speaking. In a follow-up post, he got more personal, talking about the mistakes he's made and how he wishes he could go back and do things differently. He mentioned the divorce again, saying it was one of the hardest things he's ever gone through, not because of the relationship ending, but because of what it meant for his kids. His voice cracked again as he said, "I thought I was protecting them from the mess. I didn't realize I was making them feel like they weren't part of my world anymore." Those words hit differently. It wasn't a defense. It wasn't an excuse. It was a confession, one that showed he wasn't afraid to admit he'd messed up. That's when people started to soften. Not everyone, of course, but enough that the tone of the conversation shifted. Suddenly, it wasn't just about pointing fingers, it was about whether this family could actually heal from this. And that's when the real twist came. Out of nowhere, a private message from his daughter leaked. It wasn't angry. It wasn't bitter. It was a simple note saying, "I just want us to be okay again." Whether it was intentional or not, it instantly changed the way people looked at the situation. It showed that underneath all the pain, there was still love, still a chance for things to be fixed. Iman reposted that message with a caption that said, "Me too." No hashtags, no extra words. Just those two simple words. And for the first time in weeks, the comment section was filled with hope instead of hate. But of course, social media being social media, not everyone was convinced this would lead to real change. Some people immediately rolled their eyes, typing comments about how they'd seen this all before. Couples pretending to work things out for the cameras for brand deals, or just to quiet the noise. They pointed to past celebrity reconciliations that had fizzled out within weeks, reminding everyone that public displays don't always reflect private truths. It's just PR damage control, one person wrote, racking up thousands of likes. Don't fall for it. And yet, there was another side of the conversation. Some genuinely believed that maybe, just maybe, this was the start of something real. They saw the way Tayana's eyes lingered a second longer than usual, or how Aaron's body language seemed softer, less defensive. They noticed those little, almost imperceptible gestures that don't feel scripted. A hand resting on the back of a chair, a quick glance followed by a half smile. For them, it was proof that what they were seeing wasn't just for show, it was two people trying, in their own way, to rebuild trust. The truth is, only they know what's real. Behind closed doors, away from the flashing cameras and Instagram filters, there's a whole different story, one that strangers online will never truly understand. Maybe their conversations are raw, unfiltered, and messy. Maybe there are nights when they don't speak at all. Or maybe there are small, fragile victories, like being able to laugh together again without feeling like it's forced. The public sees moments. They live the hours in between. But one thing's for sure, this wasn't just a viral moment. It wasn't just another piece of gossip for people to chew on before moving to the next trending scandal. This was a rare, unguarded glimpse into a family that's been through storms most of us can only imagine. A family trying, against all odds, to find its way back to each other. Even with the world watching, even with strangers dissecting their every move. And maybe that's why people couldn't stop talking about it. It wasn't just because they're celebrities or because drama sells. It was because there was something painfully familiar about it all. Strip away the fame, the luxury, the headlines, and what's left is something deeply human. The fear of losing someone you love. The ache of realizing you might have pushed them too far away. The hope, fragile, stubborn, and unrelenting, that it's not too late to make things right. Because in the end, that's what everyone is rooting for, even if they don't admit it. Not just a perfect picture for Instagram. Not just a moment that trends for 48 hours. But a real chance for healing. And in a world where so much feels disposable, maybe that's why this one hit differently.